All right. Hello. You guys are getting a little bit of behind the scenes today. I am here with Justen Thomas, the US Consul, and we're about to record the radio show here, and it's going live right now in a few minutes as you are watching. So yeah, welcome to the behind the scenes again. Luckily, we got it up and running here on Mid-City Beat Facebook once again. I'm happy about that, and I'm excited to see to hear from Justen and speak with him. It's the first time he's been on the show, and I'm super excited to have him.
Yeah, thanks, Stephanie. This is one of my first interviews since I'm arriving in Mexico.
Oh, really? Ooh, fun.
It's like a premiere.
This is the premiere. We like that at Mid-City. We like that, right? All right, so Listas? Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to What's Happening Yucatan, your Friday night show with me, Stephanie Carmon. For those of you who do not know me, I am the creator and editor of Mid-City Beat, an English publication online. We are very active on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We have a website, www.midcitybeat.com. We also have a calendar of events. Don't forget to check it out. It's events.midcitybeat.com, and we're putting up events every single day. Lots of different things going on in the city, from theater to music to art to foodie stuff, of course. Anybody who follows Mid-City knows we do lots of foodie stuff. So we like to get lots of things up for all sorts of colors and tastes and everything, because there's lots going on in the city and in Yucatan. A really fun place to take advantage of and explore. Go out and explore. So let's see. Well, okay, just so you guys know, I have a very special guest today here, and I'm excited to have him. I have Justen A. Thomas, who is the General Consul of the United States of America, and he has been here since August. And we will be talking with him in just a bit. He's here. Hello, Justen. You can say a quick hello, right, before I get
Hi,
to...
Stephanie.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. So don't go away. But before we get to the conversation with Justen, I want to give a few shout outs, give you guys some recommendations on where to be going this holiday season. Well, pretty much the holiday season. We're getting into it, right? Almost. Thanksgiving, the U.S. Thanksgiving just passed yesterday, and now we're heading full stream ahead into December. Mexico is like posadas, right? You have a posada, the party, the Christmas party every day, pretty much every other day, right? It's like, okay, you do a little bit of work, you go to a party, you get up and do exercise, and that's how it goes until January.
This is good. You're teaching me, because this is going to be my first holiday season in
Mexico.
Mexico.
Get ready. Get your stomach
do
ready.
my exercises now.
Exercises now, exactly. So I want to give a shout out to Pizza Neo. I was just there not too long ago. It's in the Remate de Paseo de Montejo. And they are an Italian eatery. They have great Italian food. I was just there with some girlfriends a couple of weeks ago, and we tried some of their pasta options. And they're a really good spot for Italian food in the heart of the centro. And they also have really good deals on delivery. So you can check their pizza deliveries and also pastas. They have deals every day, something different for each day of the week on Uber Eats and Rappi. So check them out, Pizza Neo. Also, Anima is another shout out that I adore, going on the Calle 47, which between 54 and 52. Anima is a wood-fired kitchen oven. Everything is cooked on the open grill. It's amazing. And they have a big smoker too. And so they do just some fantastic food out there. They have both an air conditioning dining room, and they also have the outdoor patio, which now we can finally be in the outdoor patio, right? Thank goodness. It's nice out in the outdoor patio. So check out Anima. Of course, they have their posada packages as well. Have you been to Anima yet?
No.
Oh, you gotta go.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, take notes. It's really cool. And they have this really nice listening bar too. It's kind of loungy. Very cool. Very cool spot. Also, Salon Gallos is another place to put on your list if you have not been there, or if you have, it's always a great cultural spot. It also has an interesting and awesome restaurant. They have Mediterranean and Mexican food at Salon Gallos for the whole family, and so you can check that out for lunch or for dinner. Also, coming up on November 30th is their 5th anniversary, so they're having a big bash, and they'll have music, and you can go for dinner, and they have a wine bar, they have a gallery, they have a movie theater. So they're going to do it up for their 5th anniversary. Again, that's November 30th. And then the next day on December 1st, they have Bendito Mar from La Paz, Baja California, where they're going to have oysters, chocolate clams, and a tuna snoring. So that starts at 1 p.m. I know, right? Seafood mania here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that'll be fun. So if you guys are into that, you can reserve at 999-189-6564. That's at Salon Gallo. So check them out. They have what they call the terraceo. So you can go and hang out in the terraza or at the patio. They have a big mural with a Katrine, right? They do video mapping and things. And it's a nice place to go kind of earlier in the evening. They'll have a DJ and you can go out there for a cocktail or a mocktail and some good food with friends. So check that out on Fridays and Saturday. But of course, they're open every day for lunch or for dinner. Another couple of shout outs here. I also have been going to Margot Amalia. They have live music also on Thursday and Friday. It's more a little bit like the trova music, nice ambiance, but Margot Amalia is in Colonia, Mexico, and they also have Lebanese, Mediterranean, and Mexican food. That's one to put on your list. They're open for dinner now. They're really popular for breakfast, but now they have open for dinner and they have live music on Thursdays and Fridays, so keep that one on your list. Also, if you're heading out to Progresso, Crabster is always fun. I went out there with my mom. Have you been out there
It's
yet?
a classic. Probably my second weekend in town.
Right?
Did Progresso and Crabster.
And Crabster.
Highly recommended.
It is.
Did not disappoint. Had a really nice morning out there.
It has a beautiful view.
Oh, yeah.
So nice out there. Yeah, I went out there with my mom and a couple of my friends, and that's always really nice.
We really appreciated, and this was back in August, so we really appreciated the patio seating or the AC indoors, which is what we chose. But
Yes.
I think this season I need to go back and sit outside.
Yes,
That was
now
the
you
time
can
of year.
actually sit outside. Yeah, well, I mean, that's how it is these days in Merida and Yucatan in general. Any restaurant has to have an AC, even if it has the most beautiful view and the most beautiful balcony. But yeah,
It's nice to have that option.
we got a situation here. We got a weather situation here. Right. And then just a couple more shout outs here. It is officially wedding season. So I'm sure people have been seeing lots of wedding parties in Yucatan. Lots of lovers walking down the street and, people kind of figuring out where to go, where they are, and with a group of people, they're on their way either to the wedding or the pre-party events. And I've been working with Yucatan Love, who does wedding planning, and they do such a fantastic job. So if you're looking to get married in Yucatan, a destination wedding, definitely check out Yucatan Love. They're incredible. They organize these fantastic weddings. And I also went to Alta Porta Catering this week and kind of looked a little bit at their offering. They're also really incredible. They've been in business for 30 years as catering for weddings. And the offer that they have, I think they have over 6,000 event furniture, 6,000 pieces of event furniture. I mean, any type of furniture you want, they got it. Plus, they have a full, very extensive menu. You can go and do some tasting. I actually did one of their tastings. Right, I was pretending I had a groom, right, and they're bringing me the perks.
The perks of the job.
The perks of the
Taste
job.
it while you're there.
Exactly, and I do have to say it's really, really good. So anyway, without further ado, I am, like I said, as you're listening already, I have Justen A. Thomas here, who is the Consul General and Principal Officer of the United States of America in Merida, and he just started August 1st, 2024, so just a few months ago. And his consul district encompasses the state of Campeche, Quintana Roo, and Yucatan. Every consul that comes through, that's their district. And so prior to Merida, you have worked in the U.S. Embassy in Madrid, as well as Vienna, Austria, Havana, Cuba, Miami, Florida, Washington, D.C., Brazil, and Paris, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, did I get it all in
You
there?
got it all. 18 years with the State Department. It's fun to hear people go through that list because it brings back a lot of memories,
I bet.
and it's a nice way to sort of segment these past almost 20 years of my life because there's 2 or 3 year stints when we're placed overseas, so I can think about my Paris years, my Brazil years, my Cuban years, and now starting my Mexico years.
Now starting your Mexico year. And have you been to Mexico before you started?
I have been to Mexico only as a tourist. I've been
Okay.
to Mexico City a couple times. I've been to Los Cabos a couple times.
Okay.
I had never come to the Yucatan Peninsula.
Oh, you hadn't. So was August 1st the first time you
It was
came?
the first time I stepped foot in this
wow.
part of the country, and I was very happy to be here. There's so much going on. I mean, when you were going through all those lists of fun things happening here in Merida, the word is out. When I found out I was coming here, and actually when I was trying to look for a job in Mexico as I was leaving Madrid,
Mhm.
Merida was available, and a lot of people were really excited about this job. And as I was reading about it, people were talking about, wow, it's such a great place to go. So I was really happy to get this position here.
Good. Yeah, and you know what? Merida is a trending spot right now. It really is, and throughout Mexico as well. It's a very trending spot. People are coming here from all over Mexico to take advantage of all the incredible history and culture and gastronomy that they offer here.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a great moment. A lot of people always ask me when we go through that list of places I've worked, the first question, what was your favorite? That's an impossible question.
I bet.
Everything has.
And plus, you have friends everywhere too, because everybody will be.
Yeah, you gotta
okay, which one is he gonna
check
say?
yourself. No, but it's they all have been good in a lot of different ways. But I can say it's great to be in a place that is living its moment, that is on the upswing.
Right.
And that sometimes it's when you're a place rather than where you are sometimes that matters.
Absolutely.
And this is a great moment to be in the state of Yucatan and the peninsula of Yucatan. I have that impression.
Sure. Yeah. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. I hadn't thought about it. It is a when you're
not just the where, but the when.
Not just the where, but the when. Absolutely. All right. Well, we are going to take a quick commercial break and be back and get into our conversation with the Consul General. Don't go away. Welcome back to What's Happening Yucatan, your Friday night show with me, Stephanie Carmon. And tonight I have a very special guest, Justen A. Thomas, who is the General Consul of the United States of America here in Merida. And he just arrived a few months ago, and he said this is his first official radio interview.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
So, woohoo, yay! Yay over here for Radio Mundo and Mid-City Beat. So, Justen, so welcome. So, we had a welcome party for you.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so we tried to do that with me and Soho Galleries, with Mid-City and Beat and Soho Galleries. We tried to do that. We did that last time with Dorothy, and now we're just kind of get the American community together so you can meet some of the people here that are doing a lot of things in the community. I've been here for either a year or for 20, right, depending. So tell me, how was it? I mean, how was your journey? Let's go back in your journey as a diplomat. How is it that you started 18 years ago in this career?
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, first of all, thank you for this invitation. Thanks for organizing that wonderful event at Soho Galleries. Connecting with the American community is really important for me. That's the reason the State Department is overseas, first and foremost, is to take care of our American citizens, to understand their concerns, to make sure we're available if they need us, and then just to be a part of the community that's here. So I appreciate that introduction.
Yeah.
My life in the diplomatic corps started kind of by surprise. It wasn't something that I always dreamt of doing. I grew up in northern Wisconsin. It's not a place where I was exposed to government work or even international careers.
Right.
And so for me, I had never thought about it. I didn't even probably know what the State Department was when I was graduating high school.
Oh, really?
But I hadn't considered that line of work. But I was an exchange student when I was a senior in high school. I got in touch with my local Rotary Club, and they sent me to a year in Argentina, in a small town in the province of Buenos Aires, where I learned how to speak Spanish
Right.
by immersion. I was living in a town where no one in my host families or in the town really spoke English. And so I was attending high school, doing my senior year there. And it was such a wonderful experience. Really got me interested in traveling and having an international career. So when I went back to college, back at the University of Wisconsin, was thinking about what are careers where I can be overseas. And I thought maybe one day I want to travel, maybe work for a company that can send me overseas. And after graduating from college, I realized that when you do travel for work, you get to see a lot of places, but we go a lot of places, but you see the inside of a lot of boardrooms.
Right, and hotel rooms.
And hotel rooms.
And airports.
And
right?
airports,
Yeah.
and not so much get to immerse yourself in the local culture. And I thought, well, how can I work overseas but spend extended periods of time working overseas?
Wow.
And kind of researched that. And there is a funny story. When I was an exchange student in high school, it all loops back. I had one of my host families, there were 4 siblings. And they're always fighting with each other as teenagers too. Like between the 15 and 18, plus me thrown in.
Right. Oh my gosh, how fun.
And one day somehow I find myself being like the neutral mediator of these fights between my host siblings, and my host mom said to me, "You're such a diplomat." And that might have been the first time I had ever heard that word. And I thought, wow. And so when I was looking for careers overseas, I actually remembered that time and thought, what is this diplomacy?
Right.
I got to look into that.
Right, you're like, Google, what is a diplomat? Define a diplomat.
If it comes naturally to me, maybe I should look into it. For anyone else out there who's thinking about it, careers.state.gov. I don't know who among your listeners might be interested or have family members or young family members who are interested, but the State Department has great career resources available for people who want to interested in pursuing this career, based in Washington, working as a civil servant, or traveling the world like I'm doing in the Foreign Service.
Right. So so that's a good point. So when you become a consul, when you get into diplomacy, what is your role? What has been your role in your different careers?
Yeah, we all have to choose a career path when we join. There's a lot of different things that go on in an embassy or a consulate. You've got people who are watching the local political scene and reporting back to the U.S. government to say, these are the up and coming leaders, these are the decisions they might take so that we can form our policies accordingly. You've got people watching the economy, talking to local businesses, knowing where there might be investment opportunities for U.S. companies, knowing where we might see areas of collaboration. So that's the economic track. You've got people who are on the front lines providing services to American citizens, or also adjudicating visas for people who want to visit the United States.
Right.
Those are consular officers providing consular services. You've got people running the building, doing the hiring, making sure our tech is up and running, making sure our finances are in order. They're the administrative or management side of the building. And then you've got the people who do things like this, radio interviews, working with the press, managing our cultural and educational exchange programs. That's called public diplomacy. And that was actually my career specialty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I did not realize that.
Yeah, that goes back to my time as an exchange student when I had to pick a track. I actually studied economics in Wisconsin.
But you didn't want to do the economics.
Well, I loved economics, and I really liked that career choice. And I remember this was still back when we had bubble sheets. I had to fill in the bubble next to, do you want to be a public diplomacy officer, an economics officer? And I loved economics, but I thought, it was the exchange that I participated in that made me want to be a diplomat. And so if I can do that in my career, I'm going to be doing something I love. And I picked public diplomacy and never regretted it. It's been a wonderful career choice. So most of my career spent overseas has been either working on education and cultural programs or working with the press. It's kind of alternated back and forth between those two types of jobs in all those different places you mentioned around the world.
Wow, that's fascinating. So when you were mentioning all of these other branches, those are within the embassy, the U.S. embassies abroad.
Embassies and consulates, those are all colleagues of mine. There are chances where I, as a public diplomacy officer, could do a consular tour. I did one. That was when I worked in France. I could do an economics tour. I could do a management tour. But so there's some flexibility within that. But we are required to have a specialty that kind of ties our career together.
Right. And there was a question, when there's a U.S. election and, government changes, does that change within the structure of the embassy? I mean, you came on August 1st, and then we had the election, and obviously the government changed, but you're still in the same position. So what kind of effect does that have on this system? Yeah,
for the most part, not much. We're staffed almost entirely by public servants, right? And so I worked for the United States government in the service of the American people since 2007.
Right.
And I've seen many administrations change since then.
Parties change.
That's right. Every
Policy.
time the American people make a choice and decide who they want to be their president, we serve that executive branch, and we're happy to do so. So that's our commitment, I think, to the American people. But we are, there's a lot of continuity. You know, I think at the top levels, sure, things can change, policies can change, but when relationships are so rich and so deep, like the one between the United States and Mexico, there's going to be a lot of continuity regardless of who's in charge.
Right, and it's very established. I think Merida, the consul here is one of the, or the consulate here is one of the oldest.
I'm sure, because there was such a strong commercial. You're testing my.
Let's see. Trivia.
I need to go back and study my dates. No, but yeah, I mean, there's such an interesting commercial relationship between this part of Mexico and the United States that was kind of, you know, different from the rest of Mexico, and that's some of the idiosyncrasies, the peculiarities of the Yucatan Peninsula, but its relationship with the United States, it's been very rich and deep, and started with commercial affairs, and then also, of course, protecting American business interests and American citizens who were living here or working here, and that's continued all these years later.
Right. All right. So we're going to jump off for a quick commercial break again, and we will be right back. Do not go away. Welcome back to What's Happening Yucatan, your Friday night show with me, Stephanie Carmon, and I am here tonight with Justen Thomas, who is the Consul General of the United States of America, and he's here in Merida, has been here since August the 1st, so he's just getting his feet wet, kind of learning, and it was his first time in Yucatan on August 1st. He'd been to Mexico before a few times. He's been all over the world, of course, as a diplomat, but yeah, his first time in Merida.
Yeah, and what a crash course I've had. I mean, I arrived on August 1st. I think by the end of that month, I had been already, of course, to Yucatan, but I had already been to Quintana Roo twice. I've now been to Campeche twice. I'm getting ready to go back a third time, seeing all four corners of this really beautiful, interesting part of Mexico. What a wonderful experience it has been and is going to be. I'll be here for 3 years.
You'll be here for 3 years. So you guys
be on the lookout.
Right. And I know you have been really busy. You have been really, really busy, and they keep you busy. So give us an idea about what are some of the projects that you're working on now. Like, for example, when you go to Campeche or these other states, what are the projects and what are you kind of doing?
Yeah, sure. Well, I talked earlier about how American citizens are always our number one priority, their safety and security. We have a blessing, and I think Mexicans would agree with us, that we get to host a lot of Americans in this part of Mexico, particularly in Quintana Roo.
How many Americans, do you have statistics on how many Americans are living in this, more or less?
Well, I can tell you how many visit. I mean, and this is a Quintana Roo statistic, but they always talk about somewhere between 13 and 14 million Americans visit every year.
And that's just Quintana Roo.
Yeah,
that's not Yucatan.
That's right. So, and then you add on top of that people who arrive on cruise ships, and we're talking in probably another 4 or 5 million.
Oh, so that doesn't count the cruise ships. That counts airlines.
It's incredible. It's incredible the number of Americans who are visiting, and this, Cancun, I think, airport receives the second most highest number of Americans after only London Heathrow. So it's the interest of Americans and the visitors is really important. So they have interest in making sure that tourists are taken care of, and they share that interest with us. So I talk a lot to the Quintana Roo government about making sure that tourists not only have a safe experience, but they have a positive experience, because I want them going back to the United States and talking about how they love their visit to Mexico.
Right.
Because that's the basis of the strong people-to-people relationship that embassies are trying to build, right?
Right.
It's not just about the economic relationship or the safety, but those are the precursors. That's a starting point, but it's about that strong relationship between Mexican people and American people, and tourism is part of that. So let's make it successful. And I think Quintana Roo gets that, and they've been great partners on that.
Well, and how would you measure that? I mean, what do you suggest that they do in order to make Americans have a better experience here?
Yeah, well, part of that's in their hands. You know, they're the ones who are doing the packaging and and they're always evolving. They're always looking for something new. But for us, I just keep telling them, make sure that you're coming up with things that our Americans are enjoying, and keep innovating and keep it interesting, because that's what the American people want. They're always looking for something new.
Right.
We're always looking for the next best things.
Yeah, very true. Well, and the tourist that goes to Cancun seems to be a lot different than the tourist that comes to Yucatan. Because Yucatan, I've always said, is more, it's kind of like a boutique experience. It's very cultural.
Yeah.
So you gotta first, be willing to be in the heat for the most part, unless you come in this time of year, which is like, I love it, right? Which is the high season, let's be real. But it's very cultural. There's a lot of small experiences and communities.
No, it's wonderful. You don't see the same numbers, but I think the opportunities for growth are really incredible. On tourism, of course, we've talked to tourism officials from the state of Yucatan too. But when you talk about projects, I mean, when I look at this state, the thing that has most stood out to me, and I think in my first week here, someone made a reference to Yucatan being, we talk about this being the southeast part of Mexico, and Ambassador Salazar, our ambassador in Mexico City, has really prioritized our outreach to this region. But people were talking to me about this being the northeast of Mexico. When you look on the map, Merida is actually north of Mexico City.
Oh, yeah,
and we don't think about that.
You don't think about that at all.
But this is, and I thought, that's interesting. I never would have thought of it that way. But then they're right. And when you think about the connections, the possibility of connections between the Yucatan and the north of the United States, the northeast of the United States, which is such a huge market.
Right.
There's really kind of a possibility there. We've got this great port in Progreso, which the government is talking about
and
building
it's expanding. Yeah, it's
That's
expanding.
right. And so if they can do that successfully, there's going to be a lot of commercial opportunities for American companies. There's going to be a lot of commercial opportunities for Mexicans to export to that huge market that is the northeast of the United States. And maybe this is not just the northeast part of Mexico, but maybe this is the northeast border with the United States. We've got that maritime port that connects us. Going back to the history, when we were connected across the Gulf of Mexico.
Right,
so
absolutely.
That's really interesting.
Well, some of those bricks, have you been down to La Ermita? And they have the brick.
I have not.
Okay, you have to go down and explore down there, which is a very historic part of Merida. But some of the bricks have the stamp from Louisiana.
Oh, that's
from when they were brought over in the train. I mean, they just had that exchange, the commercial exchange, cultural exchange for a really long time.
And I don't leave out Campeche, because that's such a beautiful state and has such a beautiful historic center. So again, when you talk about interest from Americans, I think it's growing, because those who come to Merida maybe make it down to Campeche. The pirate history is really fascinating.
The pirate history and the nature in Campeche.
That's right. And so we have a lot of collaboration on forest preservation with the government of Campeche, and we've also talked a lot about renewable energy. There's a U.S. company that's making huge investments in solar panels and solar power generation in the state of Campeche. So,
what do you mean they're making huge investments for the state of Campeche, or?
Yeah, they're investing in solar panels and actually in installing solar panels to create energy. So that's the
for Campeche, for the Campechanos.
That's right. So there's an investment opportunity there. So anytime we see opportunities for U.S. companies, we try to report that back and make sure that our people are aware, so they can come down and explore opportunities for collaboration with Mexico.
Right. Okay. So some of the projects that you are working and we're working on right now are then in Quintana Roo, kind of looking at the tourism and business opportunities, and in Yucatan, what are some of the?
Oh yes, I was talking about. So I mean, what do we do best? So connecting Yucatan with the northeast of the United States, I think there's a real growth potential in the semiconductor industry. I would love to see that pursued. That's definitely a priority for us in semiconductors. In semiconductors.
What is a semiconductor?
Well,
when showing my age. So, man, Google it.
Well, you've got two of them in your cell phone. It's what keeps computers running. It's what keeps any sort of technological device running.
Okay.
Probably what used to be a huge computer. It's now the size of a microchip.
Okay.
But a lot of that industry is coming back closer to the United States, and we want our supply chains to be secure. been a huge priority for the Biden administration. I'm sure it will continue to be a priority. Make sure that we have secure supply chains for the goods and services that we want to consume in the United States. So semiconductors are a huge part of that. And if the Yucatan government can position itself to attract some production in the semiconductor industry, I think it would be really great.
So would that be manufacturing then? It would just
Sure.
be factories and manufacturing. Is that mining something, or do we have some sort of natural resource
No
here?
mining
or
is
it's
required
just,
here. Probably might be more
It'd
assembly,
be assembly.
research, you know,
Ah.
and finding job opportunities for some of the graduates of the great technical schools
Right,
and
all those
universities that we have here.
science techies out there.
Yeah, those STEM fields, which we're always trying to encourage people to pursue STEM. And those are some of the, I mean, writ large, just
Mhm.
drops in the bucket in terms of the projects we're doing. But of course, we have our education projects. And this is what's near and dear to my heart, because that's the
Right.
part of diplomacy that I come from. But we're always doing outreach to students, trying to encourage them to study English and also to pursue study in the United States.
And how do you do that exactly? What does that outreach program look like?
So the number one way that we encourage students to study in the United States is through the Fulbright program. And that's a very prestigious scholarship program
Right.
funded by the US and by the Mexican government, and encouraging people to apply. But there's so much more beyond Fulbright. We always inviting American universities to come down and visit with their counterparts, which recently we've hosted university delegations from Texas, from California, and trying to get them to create relationships that could lead to academic exchanges between faculty, which could lead to student exchanges, which could lead eventually to students doing their master's degree in the United States, or taking a semester off here and doing a semester at a community college in the US to get some technical skills that aren't available here. So, you know, integrating our education systems and providing more opportunities for Mexicans to study in the US is a real goal of our ambassadors and a real goal of mine.
So if someone is listening and they're thinking, wow, that sounds really interesting, what would be the first step? Would they go to the website or they send an email, or what do they do?
Luckily, the State Department has a great free education advising service called Education USA.
Okay.
So just Google it,
Education USA.
for Mexico, and you can look and find information, get free advising about what it's like to study in the US and how you go about doing it.
Okay, there you go. That's a great opportunity. Okay, so we're going to take another commercial break and be back, as I want to talk a little bit about the new consulate. That's been the buzz in the air. Everybody's talking about that, right?
Right.
It's been in the making for a while. So don't go away. Welcome back to What's Happening Yucatan, your Friday night show with me, Stephanie Carmon, and I am here with the U.S. Consul General Justen Thomas. And this is his first interview since he's been here since August 1st, so it's exciting.
Asking me all the tough questions.
I know. What are the statistics? What's the history? But one of the big topics that everybody's been talking about for several years, to be honest, is the new consulate, which we've been seeing built, and we're like, oh, it's next month. Oh, it's next month, and But I guess that's how it always is. So what's going on? Where is the building, and when are you guys going to move in? Because you're probably going to actually be the consul that moves in.
I'm
right,
super
with his team.
excited. So we had groundbreaking for this building back in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
My predecessor, well, 2 consuls ago, Courtney Beal, who was a friend
Right.
and a former boss of mine
She's great. I
in
remember
previous
her.
jobs. She was here to do that groundbreaking, and then Dorothy was here through the process. Dorothy, she should have gotten lucky and been able to inaugurate the
She was
consulate
waiting.
herself.
She was expecting it.
She deserved
hopefully.
that. She put
Yeah.
a lot of work into it, but the pandemic slowed things down a little bit. So luckily,
Right.
I'm going to get to inaugurate the new consulate, which has been a $150 million investment
Oh my God. Yeah,
in
well,
this
it's huge.
region. Hundreds of jobs, huge investment.
And when you say
And-
hundreds of jobs, are those Americans coming over, or is that Mexicans?
No, it's mostly local work staff. That's right. Yeah, we contract the labor force here in Mexico. So
Mhm.
some from the Yucatan and some from other parts of Mexico to build this building that is incredibly modern,
Mhm.
absolutely cutting edge in terms of technology,
Wow.
and it's a huge investment, I think, in the relationship between the United States and this part of Mexico. I'm super excited
Yeah.
to move in. We're probably looking at doing the move in spring 2025,
Okay.
and dedicating the building while Ambassador Salazar is still here in Mexico. So stay tuned for that.
Ooh, that'll be exciting. So have you gone in and taken a tour
I've
of the
gone
building?
in quite a few times. Yeah, we've posted some behind the scenes
Oh.
photos on our Twitter account. So
On the Twitter, you don't have to
X
follow you.
account.
Okay, X.
So if you want to take a look on there, you can
The
see
consul,
some,
the U.S. consul.
Yeah, the U.S. Consulate in Merida.
Uh-huh.
So you can go in there and see some behind the scenes photos. Or some tours we've
Okay,
done
yeah,
of the
I'm gonna
building.
check that out.
But yeah, once we do the dedication, we'll bring some press in, and we'll get people should be seeing some photos on the newspaper and on TV if they want. It's really exciting. Our staff is thrilled to be making the move into this new building.
Because the consulate is pretty small now. I think it's probably too small for.
It's been a wonderful home. We've been there since 2006, but we are growing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's always interest by more government agencies in being present here to kind of strengthen the relationship with this part of Mexico. So we need more space.
Right.
And it's going to be nice to be in a built-to-purpose consulate.
Yeah.
It's on the north part of Merida near Harbor Mall.
Okay.
And a real beautiful, beautiful site. And can I break some news here?
Yes,
with you?
please do.
So one of the great privileges that I got was to select the name of the street that runs in front.
No way!
The consulate.
Oh my gosh! So can you tell us?
Well, yeah. So I mentioned Courtney and I mentioned Dorothy, my predecessors here, and I was thinking of a way to honor the women consuls that have worked here in Merida, not just here in Merida, but around the world.
All right,
And
Justin's our
also-
new favorite.
And also to recognize the spouses that have been part of this community too, because the consuls get a lot of the credit, but there's always family members who are, so we're supporting them. I put a lot of thought, how can we do that? And I thought, Merida's got this really rich romantic history, 1800s, 1900s vibe. And I was like, what if we do something like Calle de las Consulesas?
Oh.
And asked around, people liked that idea, so it stuck. And we're going to name the building, the street in front of the building, Calle de las Consulesas.
I love it!
That is
oh
the
my
new
gosh.
address of the U.S. Consulate in Merida. Once we open, of course.
That is so cool. Plus, how cool is it to be able to name a street?
I know. A lot of responsibility.
Oh my gosh!
A lot of sleepless nights.
I bet. Yeah, you can't just say like Maple Street, right?
Well,
Palm
we
Street.
actually, and I want to thank people because we did some social media polling and we asked our staff, and there was a lot of proposals. A lot of Friendship Way.
I bet everybody's like, oh, that's a
4th
fun
of July
creative.
Avenue. No, but I really
4th
wanted
of
to.
July.
But I really wanted to do something that had some meaning, and I thought honoring the women consuls was very timely and very overdue. So I wanted to go that route. Plus the fact that Courtney broke ground on the building and Dorothy was the one who saw it through almost to completion, they deserved some recognition.
Absolutely. Oh, we love that. That is great. All right. Yes. Points for the consul. Points for the consul. That's great. So, just for the last few minutes here, what are some of the things coming up on your agenda? I know you have a really full agenda. So, where are you going to be during the holiday season and visiting? And
yeah, well, I wanted to spend the holidays traveling around Mexico, maybe seeing some other beautiful parts of this country. But I think I'm going to end up spending them here, which I'm actually pretty excited about.
Yeah.
Now that, like you say, the weather's beautiful, and I was sleeping with my windows open last night.
Yeah, I know,
the
right?
fresh air, and it's really wonderful. So no, I will be here. I'm here with my husband Ricardo, who I met back when I worked in Brasilia back in 2011, and so we're always looking at new places to explore locally. Right. So I'm going to pick your brain after this.
Oh yes,
give me
of
some more
course.
tips
Yes.
about places I can go and tour companies we can reach out to. But I'm looking forward to everyone wants to come. All of my friends, all my family. Now I'm in the place where people can come visit. For years I was always going home for the holidays.
Right. Everybody wants to come here. Oh, that's great.
Justin, we're coming to you. So I'll be hosting family this holidays.
I love that. Very good. And just for the U.S. citizens living out there, just to kind of give them a reminder of some of the services that the consulate offers to them, or people, should we be registering at the consulate, or what are some of the general things that we?
Yes, so absolutely. Every American who's traveling or living overseas should register in a system called STEP. The Smart Travel Enrollment Program, and this was just modernized and beefed up so that you can keep track of your trips and register. And get messages from the State Department, from the consulate. That's the most important thing. When they're, especially in a place like Merida where there's hurricanes, you want to make sure you're getting the most accurate and up-to-date information from the consulate. So please have people register in STEP. Again, just Google that, State Department STEP program, and send in your information. That will make sure that you're getting the most up-to-date, correct information from the consulate when we need to reach.
Right, so
American
emails,
citizens.
you'll get on basically the emailing list,
Yeah,
right? Or
that's
message
right.
list,
Yeah,
and things like
message lists to hear from us
Right.
when we need to reach you. That's very important.
Right.
Make sure you're safe. But then in terms of regular services, things like birth certificates, registration of births abroad, passport renewals. I know that's really important.
I need
for
to do that,
people.
like
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah, please keep an eye on your passport. Don't wait until a week before the travel to check that expiration
Yeah.
date. Check it now.
Check it now.
And when it's about to expire in a year, that's not too early to go ahead and just start the
Oh,
process.
really? A year ahead, okay.
Yeah, why
So
not?
that's good to know.
Just get
Right.
it
Right.
done.
And it's a pretty quick procedure. My son got it done, and I would think he turned the documents in, and in 3 weeks he had his new passport in his hand. I mean, I don't know how it is with the holidays, maybe a little bit more, but
Yeah, I mean, you can always expedite those processes by paying a little more if you do have an emergency, but it's better to be prepared and not get stuck and have that extra stress right before the trip.
stress and
Yeah.
expense and all of this.
So Americans, check the expiration date on your passport.
Gosh,
Contact
yes.
us if you need to renew it. We're happy to do that.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much. This was super fun to hear a little bit about you, and this will not be the first time I invite you on the show and see how things go as the 3 years you'll be here. So that's it for tonight. And where would you suggest that they follow? Is the consulate on Instagram or Facebook? Or they're on the Facebook, I know.
So yeah, we're on Facebook. We're on X.
On X,
The
okay.
embassy is on Instagram, so
Okay.
that encompasses all of the mission. You can find more information there, and of course, registering in STEP, you'll get messages from us, and our friendly consular colleagues will be sending you updates when you need to hear them.
Right, great. Well, that's it for tonight. And don't forget to follow us on Mid-City Beat, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And check us out on the website, www.midcitybeat.com. Also, follow Radio Mundo Merida, 89.3. They are on Facebook and they're also on X, right? And they are on Instagram. And that's it for tonight. Join us next week from 8 to 9. It's been lovely. Have a great Friday night. And we'll be looking forward to the Calle de las Consulesas and the new consulate news coming up.
That's right. We welcome everyone there. Thanks, Stephanie.
Great. Bye. All right. Good. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, good night, you guys. Let's see. End that.